Good evening and welcome to this edition of the Island Stats Cricket Show. I'm your host, Earl Baisden. Joining me is co-host Cal Waldron and co-host Andre Doc Manders. Well, gentlemen, we've had some interesting matches played today. We also had the Eastern County versus Western County match taking place yesterday. Let me just run down the scores from the 2 days of cricket. Yesterday in that County All-Star match, Eastern County Select won by 107 runs. The Eastern County Select scored 262, and Western County were all out for 155. In Premier Division cricket today, Bailey's Bay won by 155 runs. Bailey's Bay scored 209 for 4, and Willowcotts scored 54 for 9. Somerset Cricket Club won by 12 runs. Somerset Cricket Club scored 142 for 6, and the St. George's Cricket Club could only manage 130 for 9. Western Stars won by 1 run in an exciting finish at Lords and St. David's. Western Stars scored 116 for 9, and the St. David's Cricket Club scored 115 for 5. In First Division play, Flats Victoria won by 53 runs. They would score 158 for 4, and then hold Southampton Rangers to 105 for 9. Cleveland County won by 8 wickets. Somerset Bridge would score 88 for 7. Cleveland County scored 91 for 2. And in the final match, Warwick Workmen's won by 97 runs. Warwick Workmen scored 182 for 5. And Devonshire Recreation Club scored 85 for 9. Well, gentlemen, it's one of those things where we're going to start off with that Western County versus Eastern County match. As we know, without having a fifth team, they had a round date open and invited the Eastern County Select to come up and play. In the Eastern County Select, you had Jan Johan Nell scoring 74 off of 81 balls, 2 fours and 5 sixes. Jared Richardson scored 65 off of 89 balls, 3 fours and 2 sixes. You had Shirai Tavares scoring 34. The top first 5 batsmen all scored double figures, and then the only other batsman was George O'Brien on 10. But the West gave up 41 extras, 30 wides, 6 no balls, 2 byes, 3 leg byes. Doc, that Eastern County Select team, and you look down the list and hearing those numbers there. What's your thoughts on what could have the West done something different?
First of all,
yeah,
there's extras.
there's extras. I mean,
You see a
30 something,
30 something.
30 something extra. Well,
When
when you
give up
give up what it is,
to
to them. It was that's
definitely one
of the reasons why.
Yeah, Cal, looking at that total that the East put up, 2 guys in there that have been batting, really well, especially JJ Nell from Flats has been batting rather reasonably well all season. Jared is coming to his own. Shirai can get going every once in a while. Kushai Darrell got 10. Dion Stubble got 21. But it was the partnerships that, and you guys always talk about partnerships. They were 53 for 1. They lost their second wicket on 54. But then the third wicket went for 113. That's when Dion went. And then Jared and JJ put on a 96-run partnership that took them to 209. That, I believe, was the turning point in the game, getting the good start and that big partnership to set them up. What's your thoughts?
Well, most definitely the partnership foundation for the big two. The actual that we did time at pitch, assess the condition that free run, so no dangers for playing shots together. The actual really the best.
Yeah. And then in the bowling department for the West, Samir Tavares 2 for 38 off of 7. Antonio Darrell 3 for 33 off of 6.1. Kevin Fabler, 2 for 29 off a 10. Callum McInnish, 1 for 36 off of 4. And Najaya Reyna, 1 for 7 off of 3. They were the only bowlers to take wickets. But clearly, like we said, just giving up. Tavares, 10 wides. Keishan Gosen, 4 wides. Antonio Darrow, 3 wides. Kevin Fabler, 5 wides. Candice Douglas, 3 wides. Dalen Richardson, 3 wides. It's just too many extra runs being given up, and putting themselves in a hole.
You
keep building wides and then what's scored on the actual ball.
You're always
behind.
Yeah. And then let's quickly take a look at that Western County inning. Dalen Richardson, 82. The only other batsman in double figures was Omari DeShields. He was the opener. He scored 24. They just never got going. 1 for 11, 2 for 13. They got a partnership between Dalen and DeShields, but when DeShields went, the score was on 79. And then Antonio Darrow hung in. He scored 11. He went on with the score on 135, and then they just collapsed right after that. So they went from 135 for 4. 20 runs later, they were all out. Doc, that's not a good way to end it, is it?
There's not. I mean, they had one for fun. Maybe if they would have got it, they could have blocked closer to each other. But I think they shot that's maybe
Yeah.
If you take that already, that's under 200. They look at it. But they score 150. But not get Richardson.
Yeah.
Or you needed somebody else. Not a partnership. You never know what can happen.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah. That's something they could look into. Invite these separate countries.
Right.
It could be a combined game.
Right. But remember, a couple of years ago, the board did have the Champions of Champions. They brought it back, where the champions of the Eastern County play the champions of the Western County and Central County, and all comes together. But it's something, that should be looked into, and make it a fun day, for everybody, kind of thing. Yeah. And let's just quickly look in the building department for the Eastern County. Dion Stovall, 3 for 26 off of 7. That included a maiden. George O'Brien, 2 for 23 off of 10. He had 4 maidens. Isaiah O'Brien, 1.4 overs, 2 for 3. Keith Worms, 1 for 16 off of 4. And Jabari Darrow, 1 for 15 off of 4. That included a maiden. But they ended up giving up 24 extras, but 13 wides, 2 no balls. George O'Brien, 2 wides. Jabari Darrow, 1 wide, 1 no ball. Jemai Douglas, 2 wides, 1 no ball. Jordan Burgess, 4 wides. And Shaquille Pitcher, 4 wides. Both teams are giving up plenty of wides. And this late in the season, you'd be surprised why we're still giving up so many wides. Do you think, Cal, from your experience, you're out there sometimes umpiring, you think guys are trying a bit too hard, trying to build too hard sometimes? You got to unmute.
I would say it's a combination. Some of them don't have the run-offs on yet. The fact that comfortable. Not quite sure what areas we're building in on what phases of the match. And some just not understanding the condition.
All right. Well, let's turn our attention to today. Doc raised his eyebrows earlier. Let's talk about that match at the National Sports Center. Somerset defeating St. George's Cricket Club by 12 runs. St. George's, actually Somerset, batted first and scored that 142 for, what did they score? 142 for 6. They had, their top scorer was Dominic Sabir. He scored 80 runs, which came off of 55 balls. He had 7 4s and 3 6s. They also got support from others. I'm just trying to get their scorecard back up so I can actually look at it. Let me have a second here. Have a second here. Where is? Okay, hold on a sec. They also had support from Kamal Lavrock got 25 over 25. LJ Richardson 22 over 21. But that laid their big foundation. They were 1 for 46, 2 for 108, 3 for 131, 4 for 131, and then 5 for 138. So they lost wickets late in the last few overs trying to get, I guess, build runs. But at the National Sports Center, where we'll quickly go down to bowling, Mackay Simmons 4 for 25 off of 4. That included the bathing. Shakai Darrell 1 for 19 off of 4. And then Zari Painter 1 for 23 off of 4. But in your experience, Doc, up at the stadium, 142. The way St. George's has been playing in recent weeks, did you think that would have been enough?
It depends. Wicket is getting a lot. There's been some big scores in the last couple of weeks. Later one. But only one early in these seasons. That's a lot of runs. You gotta when you got a big feel like you gotta rotate the strike. Run hard. So looking at Turtle up there, probably decent score.
Yeah. And then Cal, in the reply, St. George's struggled right from the start. They lost their first wicket on 2, their second wicket on 8, their third wicket on 19, fourth on 23, fifth on 68. And then they had a partnership that took them to 101. That have been Anzari and Zico. And then 114 for 7, 117 for 8, 128 for 9, falling short. Their top scorer was Zico Bridges with 44. The next batsman was Jonte Smith with 18. Sinclair Smith scored 13. 3 batsmen scored 10. Shakai Dow, Anzari Painter, and Osaji Bascom. But those were the only players in double figures. And the bowling for Somerset, Nairobi Mills 4 for 20 off of 4. Greg Mabry 2 for 22 off of 4. Jordan De Silva 1 for 22 off of 4, and Azar Morrissey 1 for 25 off of 4. That bad start, Cal, you think that played right into the hands of Somerset?
Most definitely. They lost too many wickets within the power play. So they made adjustments after that. And the one partnership between Zico and Zari, was it? So once again, the partnerships so the loss of early wickets definitely pegged them back, considering the quality of batsmen that went. So I would say definitely.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Right from the start, they found themselves behind the 8 ball, and they were always going to be chasing the game. So, yeah. Let's take our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk about the other 2 Premier Division matches that took place today. We'll be right back.
John Barrett & Son is bringing us something fresh and exciting for the new year. Bai Antioxidant Infusion Beverage. Bai delivers the natural antioxidant benefits of the coffee fruit in glorious combination with a variety of exotic fruit flavors, with only 1 gram of sugar and 10 calories per bottle. The folks at Bai are inviting us on a world tour through these amazing flavors. Brasilia blueberry, Zambia Bing cherry, Costa Rica clementine, Malawi mango, Panama peach, Ipanema pomegranate, Kupang strawberry kiwi, and more. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
And welcome back. In the match between Bailey's Bay and Willowcott, Bailey's Bay won by 155 runs. They had a remarkable start. Every one of the 6 batsmen that batted all scored 21 plus. Shirai Tavares 21, Kuwait Storm 25, Azende Frebbit 35, Taryn Frey 43 not out, Stephen Atterbury 22, and Jared Richardson 51 not out. His runs came off with 20 balls. He hit 4 fours and 3 sixes. They lost their first wicket on 37, second on 84, third on 90, and then fourth on 124. And then they had that 65-run fifth wicket partnership between Taryn and Jared that looked as if Jared would have dominated for the longest while. In the building department for Willowcott, Harry Bascom 1 for 30 off of 4. Kamal Bashir 1 for 44 off of 4. Joseph Baisden 1 for 26 off of 2. And Chakotay Baisden 1 for 38 off of 3. Cal, just basically too many runs put on the board by Bailey's Bay for a team like Willowcott, you think?
Yeah, a good partnership between Taryn and Jared. Like you said, Jared definitely dominated it. Finished the game off well. I think they scored 60-something runs in 6 overs. So it was a lot of boundary balls in that latest phase of the game. Definitely put up too many runs, 200 runs, even up Somerset with the grass a little high, low floppy. But, they just batted Willocott's right out of the match.
And Willocott's last week struggled. They were bowled out by St. George's for a low score. I think it was 64. So I guess this week they were aiming not to be bowled out and did just that towards the end.
Yeah, they batted the 20, so the runs became a non-feasible option, considering they had a terrible start as well between McCreel and Kyle. Well, so they had a good start in the power play. They took some early wickets, some good catches, and just pegged them right behind. So Willocott's never really stood a chance of chasing down the 200.
And Doc, as Cal just indicated, they lost their first wicket for 3, second wicket for 3, third wicket on 3, fourth wicket on 7, fifth wicket on 7, sixth on 21, 7 on 25, 8 on 25, 9 on 26. They only had 4 people in double figures. Kamal Bashir 10, Herbie Bascom 12, Kyle Bregman 11, and Shamori Gooms 11. They just could not get the start they were looking for. They had 3 players back in the pavilion without scoring. That in Dwight Baisden, he faced 3 balls. Antonio Darrow faced 2 balls, and Shaquille Bean faced 4 balls. And all back in the pavilion without scoring. So they just made it that much more difficult for themselves, you think?
Oh yeah, most
Oh yeah,
definitely. You're chasing a turtle like that. You need to get in your power play enough runs, and you can't afford to lose all those early wickets. When I looked at that too, I was like, oh no, they was in trouble. Like at one time 4 for 20, I was like, and you got to remember there was like at least four of the quality batsmen that's been making runs for them. So like we always talk about partnerships, and when you're chasing a turtle like that in the power play, you at least need to try not to lose too many wickets, and get and at least get a decent score. I mean, it could be like 40 or 50. It doesn't have to be that much, as long as you don't lose too much wicket, because the game was played up Somerset, and you could always it's not a very big field, so once you get a good start, you never know what might happen. But like you said, those early wickets cost them.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, let's turn our attention to that nail biter finish down in St. David's, Doc. Western Stars would win by 1 run over St. David's Cricket Club. Western Stars scored that at first. They scored 116 for 9, and St. David scored 115 for 5. In the Western Stars inning, Jason Anderson scored 41. Gavin Manders was out for 10. Trey Manders was out for 22. Brian Hall was out for 17. They were the only 4 batsmen in double figures. In the bowling department, Eugene Bull and Justin Pitcher took 2 for 24 each. Bull bowled 4 overs, Pitcher bowled 3 overs. Isaiah O'Brien 2 for 27. CJ Otterbridge 1 for 18. And Derek Brinkman 1 for 11. Mikhail Proctor 1 for 5. But 116 for 9 in 20 overs at Lords and St. David's, Doc. Give us your opinion on Western Stars batting.
I tell you what, I looked at it and I said that's definitely not enough runs. I was looking, because if you looked at the first game, there was a lot of runs scored in the first game. I think the boy Sarai Thomason scored 100. So it couldn't have been a wicket. They scored 180 something, and I think he scored 100 or the 180. So right away, I said, okay, that's probably a good wicket, to bat on. But like you said, we always talking about it. Partnerships, the Stars never got no partnerships going. I think at one time they was like maybe 50. I think with Jason and Trey was batting good. 50 something for 1 or 60 something. Yeah, 60 something for 1. And then Trey got out, and then it was not a little partnership, but it was no partnerships were, like big partnerships. It was just smaller partnerships. And then once Brian got out, they just lost wickets regularly. And when I looked at it, I said, well, yeah, this is definitely 116. I didn't think it was going to be enough. But like I said, cricket, like I said, is played on the field, I was surprised they got that victory, but, that was probably, like I said, that's a good victory for them.
Well, as we know, Cal, St. David's haven't been in the best of form all season, and they must have thought, okay, 116, we could possibly get this. In their batting lineup, Ricardo scored 12, Marcus Scotland scored 41, Mikhail Proctor 13, Derek Brinkman 28, Isaiah O'Brien 7, and Justin Pitcher was out without scoring off of 1 ball. Was not out without scoring off of 1 ball. They just could not get the runs needed. Deontay Durling 3 for 23 off of 4. Makai Young 1 for 15 off of 4, and Trey Manders 1 for 14 off of 2. But one getting to that close to the total, Cal, for St. David's, they must really be thinking this is not our season.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate for them, they didn't cross the line, but I would say kudos to Stars for defending that low total. Whether it was the good bowling or the good field placement. St. David's may look at the small, simple things that cause them not to make it. Rotating the strike, where they're hitting the ball too hard instead of playing soft hands, taking singles, and, continued loss of wickets without any partnerships again. So, who was it? The demise of St. David's that they, like you said, they haven't played well all season. But kudos to Stars for defending that low total.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Um, just when they think that they got something going on, it don't materialize for them, and they find themselves in a deeper hill. But yeah. So we're gonna take our second commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be talking First Division cricket. We'll be right back.
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Here's one of our favorite feature brands, true veterans of the food awareness movement. Bob's Red Mill, the U.S. leading miller of organic whole grain foods. Only whole grains have the entire value developed during growth, and once you try them, you know that this is the way food was intended to be. Try Bob's Red Mill blanched almond, whole wheat pastry, and artisan bread flours, and 1-to-1 gluten-free baking flour, unsweetened shredded coconut, gluten-free homemade wonderful bread mix, and a variety of rolled oats. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Well, guys, Cleveland County have been undefeated in league play in both T20 and in the 50 overs for their season thus far. And they handed Somerset Bridge a heavy 8-wicket defeat. Somerset Bridge would score 88 for 7 in their 20 overs. Jason Smith was the top scorer of 33. Samir Tavares, 23. And Adrian Burrows would score 15. They were the only batsmen in double figures in that 88. They would lose first wicket on 7, second wicket on 13, third wicket on 16, fourth wicket on 49, fifth on 81, sixth on 88, and seventh on 88. In the bowling department, Kushai Darrow took 2 for 8 off of 4 overs that included 2 maidens. Mackay McGowan 1 for 11 off of 3. Alan Douglas took 1 for 11 off of 3, and Treadwell Gibbons took 1 for 8 off of 2. Doc, looking at that Somerset Bridge total, scoring just 88 runs in 20 overs. Quickly doing the math, what is that? 4 runs and over? That's never going to be enough, is it?
No. That's. Anyway, I don't know. That's they lost wickets the same way we were talking about most games. They lost too many wickets early in the innings. They only lost 7 wickets, but 88 runs in not really nothing, to bowl at unless there's one of those wickets where it's up and down and you give yourself a chance. But playing against Cleveland, with the batsmen they have, that's definitely not enough. I'm sure, Cleveland only lost like 2 wickets getting it, 2 or 3. So, definitely not enough runs.
Cal, looking at the reply, Cleveland scored 91 for 2 in 9.3 overs. Kushai Darrow was out for 8. Treadwell Gibbons scored 51, not out, off of 23 balls, 3 4s, 5 6s. Stephen Bremer was out for 1. and Makai McGowan was 17 not out. They gave up 12 wides, one no ball, one leg by. In the Berlin, just Samir Tavares took 2 for 15 off of 3, but he gave up 7 wides. And that's never. I mean, first of all, they didn't have enough runs to defend, let alone want to be giving up extra runs. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Bridge, even in their batting, they gave up too many dot balls. Their approach to the T20 format just wasn't there today. Looking at them, rotating their batting lineup, putting guys up and down in the order. So they're giving some of the youngsters a chance to bat, to get them game practice. But like, we said, 88 wasn't enough. And as always, Cleveland have always scored fast against that they've played to get their net run rate up. So, any balls that were pitched up were either hit down the garden or outside the boundary. So that's just typical Cleveland. They've been in good form all season, and I don't think anyone's really pushed them yet to see if they crack.
I think everybody's waiting for Saturday. The other First Division game saw Warwick Workmen's defeat Devonshire Recreation Club by 97 runs. Warwick Workmen scored 182 for 5, and then restricted Devonshire Rec to 85 for 9. Zuri Tomlinson scored 102 not out, and the only other batsman in double figures was Malachi Jones on 31. Those two opened the inning, and they put on a 78-run first wicket partnership. Wickets fell regularly after that. There was that big stance at the 15.2 over. They lost their fifth wicket with a score on 119, and Omari DeShields stayed with Tomlinson. He only made 8 runs. There were 23 wides, 4 leg bys, 1 no ball, and in the bowling department, Dion Bull 2 for 20 off of 4, Chris Daly 2 for 41 off of 4, and Shaquille Pitcher 1 for 43 off of 4. But Doc, you mentioned young Zuri Tomlinson's inning at St. David's. Just him late in the game taking over such a young player. Give us your thoughts on watching a young player kind of dominate a game like that.
That's good because his always had the potential. He's a very good batsman. And to see him score 100, in 2020, ain't too many players that's done that. So that's good for him. And not only that, he got a not out. So he really dominated that score. He bet right to the end. That's what we coaches always talking about. Somebody early in his bet through the innings. I mean, he scored 100 out of the 182, and he got a not out. So, and like you said, the little boy DeShields stayed with him to you got to give him credit too for staying with him to get that 100. Like you said, they lost wickets in between there, and he stayed with him. So, that 182, it's a decent total in 2020. That was some good betting by him. And if you look at it, I think he, I can't remember his score, but I know it was a few sixes towards the end of his innings too. In the beginning, he made a lot of runs, hitting the ball on the ground, and towards the end, he took chances and it worked out.
Yeah, in the end, he had 7 sixes and 5 fours to boast that score. But Cal, looking at the Devonshire Recreation Club inning, and Colonel McKinnon scored 40. Dion Bull scored 19. No other batsmen scored double figures. They had 3 ducks in the inning. 2 players scored 2. 1 player scored 7, and 2 players were 4 not out when the inning closed. I guess they had the same idea as Willicots to not lose the match, knowing that they had already not be bowled out to lose the match. Bet the 20 overs. In the bowling department, Jamie McFarlane 3 for 19 off of 4. Callum McFarlane 2 for 10 off of 2. Malachi Jones 1 for 16 off of 4. Stephen Dill 2 for 8 off of 4, and Jamar Stovall 1 for 6 off of 3 that included a maiden, but clearly no threat coming along. In their inning, they lost the first wicket on 4, second on 12, third on 13, fourth on 56, fifth on 62, and it just kept falling from there. But just never looked like they were in the match to threaten anything that Warwick had already put up.
Yeah, they're another team that's been very inconsistent this season. So there was continue how they approach the game. Did they even have 11 players this week? Because they've struggled for numbers at times as well. So without the constant 11, you can't really build a rhythm, getting players in a steady batting lineup. But our attitudes are right. Could have used the runs in the under 19s. Gave maybe on the under 19s a good go in that tournament, but Devon Chirac will probably just play out the rest of the season. Warwick finally got something correct or right with the batting lineup to post a good 180 or what. So hopefully that continues for them for the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely. The last First Division match saw Flats Victoria defeat Southampton Rangers by 53 runs. Flats scored 158 for 4, and Southampton Rangers could only muster 105. In the Flats inning, JJ Now scored 62. He continued his good weekend. His runs came off of 52 balls, 4 fours, 3 sixes. Dejan Carey scored 33. So the opening wicket partnership, they put on 91 runs for the first wicket partnership. And then Paul Harvey scored 11. Logan Phillips scored 13. Kaiwan Franks 14. And they were 14 not out for Franks, and Regino Smith was 1 but not out when the inning came to a close. But they had that good start, and that's what laid the foundation up at the National Sports Center for Flats. They had Jahir Smith for Southampton Rangers take 1 for 23 off of 4. Dalen Richardson 1 for 24 off of 4. Najaya Reyna 1 for 43 off of 4. And Michael Wellman 1 for 15 off of 2. But clearly that was a good start, Doc, for Flats at the National Sports Center.
Yeah, I think that's the player up there. They got a good start with JJ Now and who else, I can't remember the other opening batsman, but I think it was
Carey open today.
So they seem to like the stadium, but yeah, that's what we talked about, like partnership like that there, helps you to get a good foundation, and not only that, a big turtle. And like I said, up to the stadium, but that turtle there, there was always a lot of runs up on that track and that big field. So they got to remember, teams like Flats, Warwick, they all got something to play for. Flats, Warwick, and Cleveland's already promoted. So the second team is going to be between Flats, Warwick, and I think between those two, that's going to take that second spot, trying to go up to the Premier Division. So they all got a lot to play for, coming up. It's going to be a nice match between I'd say Flats and Flats play Warwick, in the second round. So they got a lot to play for. So they got to just continue on that vein.
Definitely. In reply, Cal, Southampton Rangers would only get 105. They had a good start. The first wicket went for 45. They had a good start with Najaya Reyna and Jelani Oboy. Reyna scored 20. Oboy scored 24. But then they had a mini collapse because they went from 1 for 45 to 2 for 47, 3 for 50, 4 for 52, 5 for 58, 6 for 61, 7 for 87, 8 for 93, and then 9 for 97. The only other batsmen in double figures was Akale Bean with 18 and Jamori Beach, 13 not out. Quickly go down to Burling. Kaiwan Franks took 4 for 18 off of 4. Paul Carr Harvey, 1 for 17 off of 4. Nakota Bascom 2 for 18 off of 4, and Troy Dean 1 for 12 off of 1. But after a good start, Rangers sitting there, and it was in the 7th over that they lost their first wicket. It's a score on 43, but by the time they got to the 17th over, they had only added 32 runs and lost those 7 wickets, and it was 10 more overs gone. It was in the 17th over. Just not good enough, was it?
The collapses just didn't help them, but then again, when you look at the quality of bowling that Flats had, with the wicket-to-wicket bowlers that were bowling during that spell, so that definitely helped Flats put the pressure on Rangers. So some guys probably never got settled in to be able to rotate the strike properly. Falling behind, they were probably trying to score boundaries and getting themselves out. But Flats seemed to definitely like playing up the stadium. Even JJ seems to like it as he scores runs out there. So maybe they want to put that in their back pocket and take it to the next match.
Definitely, without a doubt. Yeah, he's had a good weekend. Yeah. So we're gonna take our final commercial break. When we come back, we will talk players of the week and player of the month. We'll be right back.
It seems everyone knows someone who's lactose intolerant or just avoiding dairy products. Unfortunately, there's a growing array of delicious and nutritious alternatives. Pacific Natural Foods have been doing things their own way simply and sustainably for over a quarter century, making non-dairy beverages with the finest possible ingredients right down to the packaging. Try Pacific Natural Original and Vanilla Hemp Milk and Almond Original Plant-Based Beverage, all sweetened or unsweetened, and low-sodium organic vegetable or chicken broth. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for.
Putting down the weapons.
You seen this?
And welcome back. Well, last week we selected Anzari Painter as the player of the week, and this was the presentation that took place at Gosling's.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ethan Phillip for Gosling's Rum, and I'm here with Anzari Painter, this week's player of the week. And to congratulate him, we're giving him a bottle of Flora Gold. Congratulations, Anzari.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, man.
Thank you.
There you go.
And that was the quick presentation there. So let's look at the performances of this week to decide who will be the player of the week, and then we'll talk about the player of the month. We had in the All-Star game yesterday, we had Now scoring 74, Jared Richardson scoring 65, Antonio Dow 3 for 33, Dylan Richardson scored 82, and Deion Stubble took 3 for 26. And then today we had Zuri Tomlinson scoring 102 not out. Dion Bull took 2 for 20, and Kermit Cannonair scoring 40. So in that match would have been Zuri Tomlinson in the runnings. The Somerset Bridge match, you just had Treadwell Gibbons scoring 51 not out. And that's for Cleveland. And then again, JJ Now continuing his fine form. for the weekend, scoring 62. You had Kaiwan Franks taking 4 for 18 off of 4 in that Southampton Rangers inning. And in the Premier Division, you had Jason Anderson scoring 41 for Western Stars. Deontay Derlin taking 3 for 23 for Western Stars to help them win that match by 1 run. Marcus Scotland scored 41. In the St. George's Somerset game, Nairobi Mills took 4 for 20 off of 4. Zico Burgess scored 44. Dominic Sabir scored 80. You had Mackay Simmons taking 4 for 25 off of 4, which included 1 maiden. And then in the Bailey's Bay Willocots game, Mikal Walker took 5 wickets for 10 runs off of 4 overs that included a maiden, restricting Willocots to that 54 for 9. Jared Richardson continued his good weekend. He scored 51 not out. As I said yesterday, he scored 65. So just that quick synopsis. Cal, we'll start with you. Who stands out for you?
There are quite a few between JJ, Jared, McKeel, Zarai. I think that's about it. The other bowlers, some other bowlers that ended up taking 4. So it's some good performances were spread around. They were fortunate to play 2 games. They continued their good form Saturday and Sunday. Having watched the Bay game, I think Bay as a complete team were dominant in their match, batting wise and bowling wise. So Zarai, JJ, Jared, Walker. So I'm kind of stuck on them 4.
You want pressure put back on you? Because we could go to Doc, and then I can say who I think, and then it leaves it up to you. So you want to do that? Check yes or no?
I'm gonna be like some Jordan. Pick the team, pick the MVP.
They almost got it right. All right, well, Doc, he wants you to go first. I'll go second, and then we'll go back to Cal.
I'm gonna give Cal with there's 3, but I'm leaning towards Jared Richardson. Mainly because in that Bay innings he got a not out, 50 not out, and that probably took him, to a total that was defending a total that they could defend. So you got a Jared Richardson or Zari Tomlinson. That's what I'm going for those 2. You can't count out JJ now, but I think in the context of Bay's game and Warwick's game, if you look at Tomlinson, he scored like more than half of Warwick's total, and then you look at Jared. He made a good good runs on Saturday, 60 something, and then another valuable 50 not out. So it's out of one of those 2 for me.
All right. Well, I was leaning towards both Jared and JJ, but I had to agree with Doc in the context of the Bailey's Bay game and watching Jared bat yesterday. I really was impressed with the way he went about knocking the ball around to get himself in, and then taking hold of some of the bowlers in the end. But I would lean heavily towards Jared Richardson. So Cal. It's on you, Cal.
I'm sorry. I'm sure Jared and Farad.
So what you're saying is you're going with Jared and Tomlinson?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And Doc, do you agree with those 2 as well?
I agree.
Because
I think Tomlinson's innings, again, like I said, for Warwick, it was a match-winning innings too, along with Jared. So I agree with those 2 there too.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we'll go with Jared Richardson and Zuri Tomlinson as the Goslin's Players of the Week. Now, we go back to the previous winners of the players of the week, and obviously Zura Tomlinson and Jarrett get thrown into the mix along with Brian Hall, JJ Now, and Zari Painter, Dion Stubble. But we know Dion Stubble's knock in cup match. We know JJ Now scored a century up at the stadium for Flats. Brian Hall captured 5 wickets. And Zari Painter captured 7 wickets and then scored 40 not out in a St. George's win. Yeah. And then, of course, it's those 2. So, and I'm sorry, and then Kurta Bascom took 5 wickets to claim player of the week he wanted as well. So, I can't let you off this time, boss. You got to go first this time. You got to make a decision this time. So, who would be the player of the month for you?
I'll take the 7 wickets of Mr. Painter.
Seven and 40 not out. Okay, Doc.
I was going for neither of them. I tell you what, I like the guy from Cleveland, Crochet Darrow. Remember now, this is the month of August, right? He got a nice knock in the mini cup match. I think he got runs and wickets, and it's been leading Cleveland, for a month. Like, it's been picking up wickets and making runs. So I'm leaning, even though he's not got, like player of the week. But this boy here has been doing really well for Cleveland. That's one of the reasons why Cleveland is undefeated. I don't know if you guys notice it. If you look at his average, his bowling and batting, sometimes he leads from the front. He's always got a good total. And then has been coming on, bowling, he's been picking up wickets. I think he's bowling off breaks. So I've been leaning towards him or JJ Now.
I have to agree with you that Kushai Dow has been playing a remarkable role for Cleveland, and in that Cup match he did lead St. George's in both batting and bowling. So yeah, but the 7 wickets and the 40 not out was what I was kind of had me wrapped. I know Now has been getting some good knocks of late, but that 7 wicket hole that went into the 40 not out, and it was a big win for St. George's over Willocots, but it was a big win nonetheless. So I was going to go with Enzari Painter. So I guess with Cal and myself on that side, we'll just Doc?
I agree with that. He's had I think he's had a good month too. He's been really getting wickets basically the whole season. He's been like one of those players where St. George has been using him in different areas, like especially up the stadium is has been building pretty good. It's a big field and coming in and making runs too. So I gotta give Enzari Painter a little kudos too. But I was just looking at the little boy Darrow too. What he's been doing with Cleveland. So yeah, I could go along with that.
All right, so we'll announce that Enzari Painter is the Gosling's Player of the Month for the month of August. I just want to say next week Sunday will be the start of the football season with the Cherry Cup taking place next Sunday night at 7:30 at the Devonshire Recreation Club. So we probably will not be airing the cricket show on Sunday night, and we'll come up with another date that we can actually have the cricket show. I'll get with both Doc and Cal to see what date is available, and we'll announce it on Island Stats that we'll have the cricket show on that particular evening, and hopefully you'll be able to join us then for another edition of the Island Stats Cricket Show. Thank you, gentlemen. Enjoy your night.